How I trained my ewes to the milk stand. Welcome everyone, this is Panda, and this is where I milk my sheep. This is a cattle maternity pen. I'm just giving you a quick look of the layout. So now let's go get Panda and put her in. So she is a yearling this year. She was born on my farm last year. I milk her mother. She has not hardly been handled at all. I would not say she is wild, but she's definitely not in your pocket friendly. So the first thing I do is take them to the pen where my milk stand is, and I'm going to offer her some grain. Now, I already know that she likes grain and eats grain because I feed my sheep grain occasionally. Now, if I had a ewe that was new to me and I didn't know if she ate grain, I might take a few days with this step, especially if she didn't really seem willing to eat it. I have had other ewes like this in the past, and sometimes it's just a matter of finding what they like. My daughters were given some Icelandics and they refused to eat the grain that I had. Until actually my friend, she's the one that gave my kids the Icelandics. She actually sent some of the pellets that she gave them, and then they would eat those fine. And eventually they transitioned to the grain that I use. Now, you don't have to feed grain by any means, whatever you want to feed as a treat, or you don't even have to feed them anything. It's all personal preference. I just find it easier to train them and reward them with some sort of a treat. I am not particular at all about what I feed for grain. It really just comes down to what I have available at the time. So I fed them anything from corn, oats, barley, wheat, just alfalfa, cake, potatoes. That wasn't, some of them weren't particularly crazy about that, but they still ate it. The point is, feed them what you have on hand or what you want. So one of the most important things that I have found with training sheep is you really only want to give them one choice or one decision to make, and you want it to be the right one. So you can see here I have this gate on my maternity pen that I can close over to my stand, so that really gives them no option except to go up on the stand. Now sometimes if I have one that's being really feisty or stubborn, I will actually tie that gate over so they can't just push it open and run past the stand. And so now what I'm doing here is, since I am by myself, I put a halter on this ewe and I ran it through my head catch so that I have control of her head once she gets up on the stand, since I'm behind her. That way she can't just jump off once she's up there. So you can see she did really well for her very first time, and you wouldn't even have to get this far in your first training session. Your first training session might just be introducing them to grain. Now I already know that she eats grain, so I didn't really worry about that. I just wanted to see how she would do getting up on the stand. Some figure it out faster than others. I will say she was probably one of my more stubborn ones. My goal with the first time is just to help them up on the stand so they learn what it is I want them to do. So you can see here I have a ramp, and I just kind of slowly move their feet up the ramp and help them get up there. And then after a time or two of that, they don't even use the ramp. They just jump up there all by themselves. Okay, and I will call that a win for our first training session. I'm just going to mess with her bag a little bit here, and you can see she doesn't seem bothered by it at all. So I'm just kind of mess with her a little bit while she's eating her grain, and then once she's finished, I will take the halter off and let her go back to her baby in the pen. Okay, on to day 2. So here I am. I'm going to get her out of the pen and bring her to the maternity pen. Okay, so you can see here that she keeps trying to go through that gate Now, ideally, if that was a solid, that would help because then she couldn't see through there and want to go through there. The other reason she's wanting to go through there is her baby is right back behind that gate. So something else that, another tip that's really helpful is you can get their lamb, and if you have somebody else to help you, have them hold the lamb up on the stand and they'll, jump up there because they want their baby. I didn't do that because I was by myself and it just seemed like too much to try to hold a lamb in addition to everything else. So again, I am by myself here, so I'm going to throw a halter on her so I can keep control of her once she's up on the stand so she doesn't just jump up there and then jump right back off. I'm going to get her turned around and lined up with the ramp. Okay, and see, here's another thing. Again, ideally that gate for training purposes would be solid, and that would really help with getting her to not think she can go underneath that gate. That was a big thing with her. She kept wanting to go under that gate. And once she finally realized that her only option was to go up on the stand and not under the gate, then it became a lot easier, but it took us a couple days to get there. And you can see she kind of keeps going down on me, so I'm not picking her up, I'm just lifting that leg up and making her take steps up on the ramp until she jumps up. Ideally, this stand would be a lot wider. This one is actually very narrow, so when they are just learning, I really like to help support them so that they don't come off the side of the ramp. Again, it's not an ideal stand, but we just use what we had. Okay, so now here is my daughter Rietta. She is 9. This is her Icelandic ewe, and she is bringing her in to milk. This ewe, you'll see she's fairly wild. See, she just got by her. She's going to run back and go find her baby. But she has been on the stand before. She was on the stand last year as a yearling. So it's not her first time, although it is her first time up there since the last milking season. So she's had quite a break. So let's see how she does. Now she went through the cow head catch into this back pen. So Rietta pulled the gate over to the stanchion, and she's going to try to get that ewe over to where she needs to be. And you can see she just hops right up there, puts her head right in the head catch, and she knows that she has a treat in there. And now I just wanted to show you guys really quick. This is the ewe I'm milking right now. And you can see how great they jump up there once they're trained. Okay, so here is day 3. I think this was actually about our toughest day. Another tip for you, you can see I left my grain tub out, and so when Panda came in the pen, she said, "Oh, easy access." So I'm having to pull her away from it. Set that up until you get them back behind the stand. Not that big of a deal, just for a more streamlined process, something to think about. So I've got her back in this little pen behind the stand, and we'll see if she's just going to jump up there, but I don't think that she did. She was actually being quite stubborn. Probably the most stubborn one I could have picked out, so you're welcome. The other thing that would be really nice on this stand is if it had some sort of a barrier up on this right side of it here, that blocked them from jumping down. Now that's not a problem once they're trained, but when you're training, it would be super handy if there was something there, kind of an alleyway straight up right to the head catch. I don't have that. We manage. And obviously, if you are more patient, you can take your time. You don't have to manhandle them as much. They will figure it out. It just takes longer. I am a very impatient person, and I know that I can kind of help them out a little bit, and they'll learn it quicker. So, to each their own. Okay, so I'm not really pulling pressure on her head. I'm just holding it steady so that she can't go backwards. You can see she keeps kind of being stubborn and laying down on me, but I just pick her leg up and bring it forward and then grab the other leg and bring it forward. And then I'll maybe kind of give her a little push from behind. But usually just getting those front legs, once they're up there, then she'll just hop right up. And then once they figure it out, they don't even use the ramp anymore. They just jump up. You can see here she went off to the side. Again, that's where having some sort of a solid wall there or alleyway would really, really help. So you can see me here actually putting my stand back against the wall. I had it tied to the maternity pin panel, and it actually came untied, and so that's why it was a little loose there. I'm tying it back up now. She was a little bit of a struggle today, but that's kind of how it goes. They might do okay at first, and then they kind of hit a low point, and then it seems like then after that they figure it out. So if that happens to you, don't get upset, don't give up. That means you're almost there. They almost have it figured out. So just persevere and you'll have it. Okay, so day 4. Day 3 was a bit of a struggle, so I decided to bust out one of my tricks and see if that helped. And what that is I've got my trained ewes. I have 2 of them back in the pen with Panda, so I let my trained ewe come through first to hopefully inspire Panda to make the right choice to just jump right up on the stand. We'll see if it works. Okay, so there's the first one. She's gonna jump down and I'm gonna let the second one out. She doesn't know if she wants to come. I'll let her out of the way. Oh, and see, there she is, jumped right up. And there is Panda trying to escape, but see how she's thinking about jumping up because that other ewe is up there. That's something that seems to work really well. They see one up there, they'll jump right up there because they want to see what they're getting. She's still really wanting to go under the gate, which is very frustrating, but she's close to figuring it out. She's thinking about it. Oh, maybe wants to go under the gate again. So I'm just going to hold the gate so that she can't go underneath it. So the Icelandic is done. Now she's standing up on the ramp. She is thinking about coming up. I'm shaking the can a little bit to try to help motivate her. The Icelandic was gonna jump down the wrong way, so I'm just turning her around and letting her out. I want to make sure she jumps down the correct way so Panda sees that there's only one way out. You can see I don't even have her actually locked in that little pen. I have that back gate open so that she can go back into that pen if she wants. Okay, so what I'm having my daughter do is having her help me since I don't have anything to block that big hole, and Panda is not getting up on her own, so I'm shutting her in that small space. I'm having Rietta block the hole, and then I am just positioning Panda in front of the ramp so that hopefully she will jump up. Okay, so now I'm going to go in. I have Rietta blocking the hole again and see if I can encourage her. I'm just standing behind her and trying to keep her position straight to the ramp. And there she goes, success! Yay, we did it! Great assist from my daughter. Okay, so now since we had success and it's fresh in her mind, I decided to just repeat it a couple times over and to make sure it was really concreted in her brain that this is what we do here. So I shook the grain can a little bit. She didn't jump up, so I'm just going to tie the gate over since my daughter left to go do her chores. I'm by myself just to make sure she's not going to push that gate open and go around to eat the grain at the front. So let's see if she finally figured it out. I'm just going to stand back and give her some space. Then on second thought, I decided, well, maybe I'll tie this rope across here just to try to discourage her from jumping out that open hole. Okay, here she comes. And she's trying to go under the gate again. So I shut her in the small space behind the stanchion. I set my milking stool there just kind of as a barrier Obviously, she could knock her right over if she wanted to, but... And up she goes. And she didn't even try to jump down. She knew that she had grain in that red tub, so she just put her head right through the head catch. So now I'm going to repeat it one more time and call it good for the night. Okay, one more time today or this evening, just to make sure that she's really got it down and it wasn't just a fluke. So I go ahead and she's in that back pen. I open up the gate. I'm going to go out because I noticed on the last time when I just stood back and gave her her space, she jumped up better. So I shake the grain pan a little bit so she knows that it's filled again. And when I say filled, I just mean there's a little bit sprinkled in the bottom. And up she goes. Success, she's got it. And you can see she doesn't use the ramp, she just jumps up. So I am going to stop there. Thank you, Mr. Fulbright, and call it a win. All right, day 5. Let's see if she remembered what she learned. Okay, so again, I put her in the back. I shake the grain tub and set it out for her. And I'm going to stand back and let her do her thing. She's going to think about it for a minute. And up she goes. Yay!
Success! All right. Let's say she's got it figured out.
Nice.
Smile at her.